Imagine being told that someone wearing your identity has already died. The family has seen the body. The case appears closed. Yet somewhere, the person whose name was buried may still be alive. That is the trap at the center of Shadow Counterpoint, an early P4 theatre work first presented in 2016. Its published text begins not as a confession, but as a report. A Chinese woman is found drowned near Venice. Later, her family claims the dead woman was an impostor, while the real woman remains missing. This is a story inside the performance, not a verified news event. But its question is brutally clear. If there are two of you, which one has to disappear? Look carefully. In the surviving stage footage, two figures approach each other under a circle of light. One wears white, one wears black. They advance, separate, return, and watch. A contemporary press account describes a white-robed figure moving through gauze and projected images, then meeting a figure in a dark school uniform. Their relation moves through pursuit and escape, struggle, survival, and control. But the work does not give us a reliable original and an obvious counterfeit. It gives us a test we cannot pass. Every gesture might be evidence. Every resemblance might be a threat. And the spectator begins doing exactly what the story demands, scanning two bodies for the tiny difference that will authorize a verdict. Recognition, we discover, can become a weapon. The title offers a formal clue. I am using counterpoint here as an editorial reading, not as a documented explanation from the artists. In musical counterpoint, separate lines retain their identity while producing meaning through relation. On this stage, body answers body. Projection interrupts flesh. A question returns with a different pressure. Was it an accident? Was it really her? Do you believe you are innocent? The published text repeats these questions until certainty begins to sound mechanical. The more urgently we demand one stable identity, the less stable either figure becomes. A mirror says, "This is you." Counterpoint says, "You become legible beside someone else." The duplicate is dangerous, only because an unseen authority has decided identity must be singular. Then language changes its function. Open your eyes. Stand, crouch, walk, turn left, turn right, drink, toast, run, attention, at ease, lie down, turn the light on, turn it off, begin, end. In the published version, that sequence repeats across an extraordinary block of text. The press account describes the dark-clothed figure repeating commanded actions like a puppet, while the instructions accelerate and an alarm grows sharper. Language no longer describes a body, it operates one. Here is the trap. Obedience seems to promise proof. Follow the command correctly, and perhaps you will be recognized as the real one. But if both bodies obey, obedience erases the difference it was meant to reveal. The system resolves ambiguity by making a person disappear. Now, step outside the 2016 production. What follows is a contemporary analogy, not a subject the surviving sources say P4 declared. Imagine all the versions of you that can now speak in your place. A profile, a search result, a face match, a recording, a score, a prediction, assembled from past behavior. None is literally the double in Shadow Counterpoint, but each creates the same unsettling possibility. What if the version that represents you becomes easier to read than the person who is alive? Then the conflict is no longer simply human versus copy. It is one account of you against another, the self you experience, the self you perform, and the self a system can process. The frightening double is not the one that resembles you. It is the one that can be verified without asking you. In the performance text, a stranger pushes the speaker into the water. While she sinks, voices tell her, "There is already someone just like you. Two identical people should not exist. Therefore, you must disappear." Yet the story refuses to stay finished. She climbs ashore again. She is cold. There are no pelicans. She goes to the appointment again, then flees toward a place where it always snows. The return is a fact of the published text. What it means remains open. And that is where the audience becomes implicated. We want the mystery solved. We want victim and impostor, original and copy, innocence and guilt. But every clean answer accepts the rule that produced the violence. Only one version may count. The audience becomes the authority deciding which body is allowed to be real. Shadow Counterpoint was presented as P4, opened publicly in 2016. A 2022 P4 retrospective calls it the group's first play. Contemporary reports credit Shuang and her Fa with planning the work, Yan Qin with directing it, and Liu Yang with performing. That same retrospective describes improvisation and time-limited creation as an early starting point. Those are documented facts. We should not retrofit a complete later philosophy onto this first experiment. But we can stay with the structure it leaves behind. Two bodies, projected images, repeated speech, sound, and spectators forced to compare. A shadow is not a counterfeit body. It appears because a body interrupts light. And counterpoint does not become powerful by silencing one line. It needs the friction of more than one. Perhaps there are two of you because no self exists alone. The danger begins when relation becomes ranking, resemblance becomes evidence, and difference becomes a crime. So when two versions stand before you, do not ask which one must disappear. Ask who built the room where only one is allowed to remain, and why you were so ready to choose. If the copy survives, what exactly has disappeared?